Every morning, 38-year-old Akira wakes up to a barrage of digital notifications. He treats the hours ahead of him like a tactical board, deciding exactly where to yield and how to navigate the hyper-competitive grid of corporate Tokyo. Over 12 years at an advertising agency, he has played this system with precision. He earned the promotions. He bought the condominium. By every objective metric, he is winning. Yet when he sits alone on his sofa at night, a hollow sensation settles in his chest, a feeling that something essential is missing. He spent a decade mastering a specific set of rules to get here, but the metrics we use to measure success often fail to provide fulfillment because they are entirely artificial designs. The modern obsession with strategy and competition traces back to John von Neumann, who formulated the probabilistic rules of game theory. This model relies on strict divisions, sorting the world into winners and losers through calculated strategies. While designed for mathematical logic, we adopted this framework as the actual structure of our lives. We became players in a system we forgot we created. Millions now operate entirely within this grid. They optimize their schedules and maneuver against rivals, rarely pausing to consider that these rules are a very recent invention. Akira's hollow feeling is the predictable result of living inside an engineered design that was never meant to be absolute reality. Breaking that illusion requires leaving the grid entirely. On a weekend trip back to his home in Nagano, Akira stands by a field where his 80-year-old grandfather still works the land. There are no digital alerts here. When Akira kneels and touches the dirt, it is cold and damp, carrying a sweet smell he hadn't realized he missed. Stepping out of the city environment strips away the constant noise of strategy. It grounds the body in a physical reality that demands nothing in return. His grandfather describes the extreme of human rulemaking, fighting in the South Pacific during World War II. When pushed to the brink of survival, humans draw a harsh mental border, categorizing whoever stands on the other side strictly as an enemy. Drawing this line across the world is what creates the distance necessary to view another person as a target. While the public celebrated the victory, the survivors carried a deep, lingering trauma. For years, his grandfather thought he heard gunfire in the night. But his grandfather explains the realization that saved him. When he returned home and finally placed his hands back into the dirt, he understood that the earth has no enemies. There are no allies or rivals in the soil. The act of forgetting our fundamental connection is what allows the darkest parts of human behavior to take root. The next morning, Akira wakes before dawn. He leaves his phone inside and sits alone in the damp grass, completely severed from his corporate strategy. He remembers the safety of falling asleep on his mother's lap as a child. The drive to achieve gives way to a profound peace. It is an internal shift. He stops trying to conquer his environment and instead feels what it is like to belong to something massive and ancient. Long before the modern game began, cultures like the Ainu people lived in deep reciprocity with the landscape, treating the rivers and the earth as something to be honored rather than owned. Finding a way out of the hollow feeling means looking past the score of the game to recognize our shared roots in an ancient ecosystem. Akira eventually boards a train back to Tokyo. He doesn't quit his job. He still attends his meetings and hits his deadlines. Humans have a long history of drawing boundaries and inventing games to survive. It is a part of our nature. But Akira now maintains a home outside of those rules. He keeps a small planter on his balcony. Every morning, he waters the soil, breathing in the scent of the earth before his day begins. Now, when he sits on his sofa at night, the air feels different. The lost paradise we go searching for is actually much closer. It stays beneath our feet, waiting for us to remember it.